G'day guys, welcome back to SuperCoach with DR and welcome to the Round 7 stock market, where as usual, I'll take you through all those relevant players' break-evens. We'll look at those players that we may need to keep on our watch list, some of those best buys, some pods, those players that I think we can safely buy now, and unfortunately those players that we may need to sell or put on the chopping block because their average is getting pretty close to that break-even, particularly our rookies that we may have on the bench. But I think at this stage of the season, it's more important than ever to be targeting fallen premiums and focusing on some value picks because I think that the large majority of us won't be able to afford a full Uber Primo side, and it's essential that we look closely at these blokes that for one reason or another are underpriced for their potential output. So I've got a few that are on my watch list, and I'm guessing that lots of us went 2 down last week and would be looking to go at least 1 up, 1 down this week, if not 2 up. So we'll have a bit more of a focus on some of the premiums this week and some of the value picks because I think the best rookies that are available, we probably should have got on last week. So in the defence, James Sicily is back up the top. We saw him down the bottom a couple of weeks ago, but geez, hasn't he bounced back? A break even now of 28. He's my best buy. I'm really confident that he's locked in to be a top 8 defender. Luke Ryan, well, he's creeped up, hasn't he, with his average of 94 there. He's a pod that I don't mind the look of. With a break even of 69, if you're looking to bring in a premium defender, you could go worse than him. Mills, he's pretty good value there still at 77. Ridley at 103. Look, he's still a buy now, but you're not getting the value that you were a few weeks ago. Same as Daniel, not a whole heap of value there, but you can select him knowing that you'll get around that 100 mark each week. Maynard, he's a pod, but yeah, I'm not overly confident with him, but average of 108. He's gone better than Daniel, who I like a lot better. So yeah, if you like Maynard, then I suppose you can go for it. The Seagull Lloyd, well, he's always on my watch list, as I say every week, but for me, my plans may have changed. I've always said that I want to finish with this bloke in my side, but there may be 2 other defenders that I may be looking at ahead of him, purely because of value. Nick Haynes, he's still been a really good pick. You probably wouldn't look to get him in this week with that break even. Might want to wait a week or 2 if you're looking to get him, but a terrific pick, great player. Basher, I would sell, as I've said for the last couple of weeks. And Sam Doherty, I probably should put the yo-yo or the roller coaster on him because he's been a bit up and down, more down than up in the last few weeks. But break even of 172, down to 521. If you haven't got him for some reason or another, then next week or the week after, you'll be getting an absolute bargain there, and you could probably look to go close to finishing your defence. On to the mid-price defenders, Tom Jonas there, I've got as a trap. Look, he's got a break-even of -1, but only an average of 77. Had a really big score on the weekend, but I think those will be too far and few between. Tom Duday, well, he was my best buy last week. He's my best buy this week as well. Break-even of only 28, average of 91. He's had 3 scores on the trot of 100 plus, so I'm gaining confidence that he's going to be a keeper for me, and I've been wrapped with this pick. If you are looking for a little bit of value, he could be a man, but it is still a risk because I'm not certain or really confident that he's locked to be a top 8 defender, but I'm pretty happy having him in my side at the moment. But keep in mind, I got him at about that 300k mark. Birchall, I still think is a trap, but I think he's played really good footy for the Lions, but I don't think he'll be averaging enough to make him worthwhile or make enough money to make him a worthwhile pick. McGovern, still got the binoculars on him, see if he can hit some form. Short, I still like as a pod there. Still some value with a break-even of 66, similar to Duday, I suppose. If you think that he can be a top 8 defender, then you could look to bring him in, but I probably like Duday a little bit better, given the fact he's cheaper and has that lower break-even. Connor McKenna, well, yeah, look, that average of 95, break-even of 71. There's some value there, and for 438, if you're looking to go really, really different in your back line, then he could be someone to have a little bit of a look at. Continuing with the mid-prices here, I've got Crispy there. I don't mind him as a bit of a pod, but you're not getting a heap of value, I don't think. Sard as well, sort of similar to Crisp. Shepherd, yeah, I've gone cold on him. Not completely cold, but I just think that there's some better value out there. Laird has been playing better. Well, he's been playing better or just scoring better. I'm not too sure. Smith don't go anywhere near. Hearn, well, how low will he go? He's certainly an option that you could look at to finish off your defence. But the two blokes that I'm really looking at are Zach Williams and Tom Stewart. So big fans of these blokes. Remember, Zach Williams, I think from memory, he was one of the most expensive defenders to start off pre-season. And Stewart, he was going really well before he injured himself. So with break-evens of 153 and 194 respectively, I think that there's going to be so much value in these two. And my current plan at the moment is to get in Williams and Stewart to finish off and round off my defence with my, well, probably D4 and D5 with hopefully Duday staying at a D6. But yeah, really recommend keeping a watch on these blokes. But look, the time's got to be right. I'm not too sure exactly when they're coming back. I've heard that Stewart should be back soon. I'm assuming Williams should be back in the next few weeks as well. But when they do, yeah, I'm really keen to see how low they can go. And on to the defenders, 300k and under. Will Day, he's my best buy there. Still got a negative break-even of 39. Looked really good on the weekend. He's Spiller's man, Will Day. And if you selected him last week, you would have been absolutely wrapped, I think. Derek the Egg, well, I didn't know what symbol to put on this bloke because I'm just not quite sure. I just can't get a read on it. I've put the green arrow going up there because he certainly will be going up in price, but does he keep his spot? It's an awkward price. Bringing him in, at 246. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'll have to look into it a little bit more, but I suppose the info's there for you. He's got an average of 92, break even of negative 37. He certainly will be going up, but I'd probably prefer to get Andy McPherson, the bloke under him. He's got a negative break even of 34, average of 64, but if you look at the price difference there, you're basically saving, what's that, 90k, so I'd certainly be going with McPherson over Deck of the Egg. Ben Mackay, don't know how you say it, but negative break-even of 24. I think this is a little bit trappish. He certainly will make money, but does he stay in the side? I'm not too sure. With the role that he plays, I was pretty shocked that he got an 86. I think you'll be copping probably 30s to 50s on most occasions, I'd say. Lockie Ash, yeah, must have just forgotten to take those symbols out. Sorry, not really. Yeah, well, I suppose he's a pod, but didn't mean to have it there. And Jared Brander doesn't really need a roller coaster. He just hasn't been playing, unfortunately. Continuing with the defenders under 300k, well, John Noble got the JS there. I'm not too sure. He was a late in last week. I'm hoping that he can keep his spot, this week and get close to that 300k mark. That'd be brilliant. And I've got the binoculars / chop on Fisher Mac, Stas, and Hayden Young there as well. Williamson, that's getting pretty close to his average, his break even there. Only a difference of 1, but I think he can hold on to him. He wouldn't be a major concern, I wouldn't say. Onto the midfielders, 500k plus. So Tim Kelly, he's my best buy there with a break even of 59. Average of 97, hasn't set the world on fire this year, but I think he's just going to continue to improve, and I'd be expecting, if anyone got the tag, for it to be probably Andrew Gaff at this stage. Cogs, roller coaster. So, look, you could get him in with a break-even of 60, thinking, look, he'll get that average of 100, but he could turn around and maybe get you a 60. In saying that, he could get you a 180. He's just all over the shop, this bloke. So, if you want to take a roller coaster ride, you could get Cogs at just over 500k, but yeah, probably not for me. Tuke Miller, this guy just continues to impress. Getting no respect from any of the super coaches at the moment. Break even of 79, average of 110. He's a terrific pod. Look, he's not tagging anymore, to the best of my knowledge. He's winning his own ball in his own right, and along with someone like a Huey Greenwood, has really stepped up this year and taken his game to a next level. Danger and McRae, I think you can both buy them now. They're hitting form now, and I think you can probably select these two with pretty good confidence at this stage. Trelaw, he's a pod. Geez, isn't he going well? Break even of only 94, so there's value there for what he's actually producing at the moment. Geez, I'd love him in my side at the moment, and the only concern that I'd have is with his body. We know he's been injured, some of those soft tissue injuries in the last year, but with what he's doing at the moment, yeah, you can't deny what Adam Treloar's actually producing. So, yeah, if you've got him, you'd be wrapped, but yeah, paying that much, as I said before, I just think that we need to look for value elsewhere. Jack Steele, 585. Well, with a break even of 99, he played out of his skin over the weekend. I watched him pretty closely. Super impressed with this bloke. So, again, if you're looking for a pod, I think that he'll be a pretty reliable sort of a pick. Don't expect 160 odds each week, but with his tackling pressure, I think that he'll score you at least 100 on most weeks, and you should be pretty safe to get him in. Bont, he's a roller coaster. Taylor Adams, I really like as a pod, similar to Treloar. He's not pumping out his numbers, but here's another pod that I like playing for Collingwood. Clary, get the binoculars on him. I was a little bit harsh on him probably last week and said I wasn't looking to go near him, but I've got the binoculars back on him now because I think he's improving. Melbourne's improving, and with Maxi Gawn, popping it down his throat, then I don't think he's the worst pick in the world. Just thought I'd throw Jared Lyon's name out there as well. 559, not a heap of value there, but he's a nice pod that's averaging around that 110 mark. Lukey Parker, Titch, Jelly, Gaff. Well, I won't mention all the names here. There's no special notes on there, but you can see that most of these guys, I've got the binoculars on. Look, just keep a track with them. If there's particular blokes that you don't have, then I'd just be keeping a really close eye on what that break-even's doing over the next week or two. Some of these blokes may be injured, so you got someone like a Duncan there, so you need him to play for a couple of weeks before you'd look to select him. Five, got a huge break-even there, so certainly someone on my watch list. And for anyone that doesn't have Lachie Neale, his break-even's close to 200 there and going south, but I wouldn't be expecting too many scores of 87 from him. Not to the mid-price midfielders. Well, I've actually got Dane Zorko as my best buy there. So why is that? He's proved to have produced elite uber premium numbers before. You're getting him at 487k, which I think is an absolute steal. Only an average of 87. Remember, there is an injury-affected score within there, though. But a break-even of 55, I think that this bloke has a heap of value. And look, if Lachie Neale starts to get a little bit more attention, like we may expect him to, then I think that is actually good for Zorko. He will be playing down forward at some times during the game, but he can score well down there because he's a tackling beast, loves pressure, and can snag a few goals during the games as well. When I say a few goals, a goal here and there, I meant obviously not a few goals each game. That'd be absolutely magnificent. But look, there is a bit of risk attached to it because he had some injuries with his Achilles. I forget exactly what it was, but one of the issues that he had, this thing snapped, but apparently if it snaps, it's actually a good thing because you don't actually need it. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical expert, but you'll probably be able to find out about it pretty easily and read up about it and research it. But I think he's almost back to full fitness now. Zorko is a great leader of the Brisbane Lions, and I think that he could be a really, really sneaky buy because remember, value is going to be the key here, I think. Elliot Yeo, well, he's still a decent buy there, I think, with an average of 90. McGrath, well, the only concern with him is he hasn't really produced premium elite numbers before, so still not too sure about him. Viney, I probably wouldn't be bringing him in now, but that's lovely for owners with a break-even of 50 there. To be honest, his break-even doesn't really worry me because I'm pretty much set on keeping him for the rest of the year. On to the midfielders, less than 300k. Well, up the top there, clearly the best buy this week is Sam Simpson. He's still got a break even of negative 90. So with an average of 95 after a couple of games there, I still think he's a terrific buy. For some reason or another, you missed out on him last week. Look, I think I've said it before in my review video, but with injuries to some key players, your Duncan, Narkle, Clark, these types, I think that's a really good formula for Sam Simpson. But one thing to keep in mind also, it was Mark Blitzavs, I think, in the last couple of days. I watched an interview that he did, and he did mention that the way that Geelong are going to approach these next block of games is to probably rest some players for 1 week, probably during that 4-week period. So That may be of some slight concern for anyone that's holding some Geelong players, but who knows, there may be many clubs that take that same approach, but I think you can select him with pretty good confidence at the moment, Simpson, for the short term. Sam Mays, I've had a couple of questions about this bloke, particularly being a Brisbane supporter. He was at the Lions for a few years there. Former pick 8, I think that he was as well. But look, he finds himself now with an average of 115 after the first game with a break even of negative 27. I've got the question marks on there because I just can't read this pick. I'm finding it really, really difficult. My issue is that, it's his first game that he's actually played for Port. He's been there for 2 years now. I don't know what his job security is like. You'd think after that 115 and playing pretty well over the weekend that he should keep his spot for at least the next couple of weeks. But what happens if he then turns around and gets a 60, 65 in the next two? Does he get dropped? There's a high chance of that. So, yeah, I'm a little bit iffy on this pick. I can certainly see the value there, but I'd definitely be going for Simpson if you don't have him, but I'm assuming lots of us do. Yeah, of each their own on this one, I think. Do some research, find out what his job security is like, if he's going to keep that role down there, what injuries have Port got. That's all the stuff that we need to think about, but yeah, just can't get a read on this bloke. Three blokes down there at the bottom, Phil Morrison and McInerney, all a bit worried about their job security. And if he kept on to Pickett, yeah, congratulations. I traded him a couple of weeks ago now, but he should hit 300k. Some more rookies under 300k, not much to see here. McHenry, been disappointing. Stevens wouldn't go near at that price with that break even. Tyler Brown, I think you have to sell, and the same as Hayden as well, but yeah, got a lot more respect for this young bloke after he went back with the flight, knocked himself out. He should be out for at least a week. Hopefully the club does give him a little bit of a rest to get himself right again, because we've seen what concussion can do to some players. So all the best, mate, and really courageous effort. Onto the ruck. So this will be a big talking point this week for a few reasons. Well, firstly, we had Tim English go nuts on the weekend. I've got the green arrow on him. I'm not going to put a buy it now or best buy of the week because it'd be silly for me to do that after saying for the last 3 to 4 weeks that the only three blokes you should be looking at is Goldie, Grundy and Gawn. So I'm not going to turn around after one massive performance and slap the buy now on him. Look, if you rate him as a pick, it's certainly something that you can look to do. Very low break even as compared to his average there. Remember, that average did shoot right up after that game on the weekend. Was a lot lower before his big score, obviously. But for me, I've got the buy now on Max Gawn. Look, I think that he's very, very close to being a must-have Gawn. So ideally, by this stage of the season, you'd have Gawn and Grundy in your side as your R1 and R2. But again, I don't mind the Goldstein pick. Probably not the week to bring him in this week with a 163. I'd certainly be targeting one of the other two boys there. But if you've got Marc Shittonet, like I have at R2, he's got to go this week under all circumstances, I think. You cannot have this bloke in your side any longer. If he drops a score like he did in the weekend, he could be losing around 40k, and he'll be close to 300k before we know it. And all that money that we made on him will be down the gurgler. So, yep, get him out of your side. If you have, ideally to Gawn. If you haven't got him, then I'd be looking to get in Grundy. And then just looking at the prices at the moment, those break-evens, although I rate Goldstein higher than I do English, I'd be getting in probably English. No, actually I wouldn't. I'd still go Goldie, I think, just because I rate him as one of the top 3 picks. Onto the forwards, 500k plus. Track there with a break even of 59. He's certainly the best buy there. You could argue that Greenwood would be the best buy. It was probably tough between those two, but after his 160 on the weekend, I did go with Track. Greenwood, he's a buy now also. He's really impressed me this season. Did not see a 113 average coming, but there's value there. And look, if you've got him, if you've got these top two actually in your forward line, then it will be looking really nice at the moment. Tom Hawkins, I still think that he's a trap. Decent average there for a key forward, but we've seen what, Tommy Lynch can do, and I rate him as one of the best key forwards in the game, Lynch. And Simpkin, for non-owners, that was a bit of a bonus on the weekend. He hurt his ankle pretty early on in the game. Terrible time on ground for the first half, but came back for a 57, and he'll be, a lot close to 500k, depending on what he scores. We can't always predict what they're going to score, but he should be close to 500k in about a couple of weeks. On to the mid-price forwards now. De Goey up the top. I think you got to sell. He's having surgery. A few off-field issues as well. So I think he's got to go. I'm not exactly sure how long he's out for, but look, kicked 5 goals in his last game, look really, really good, but you can't keep him in if he's going to be out for that long. Baz Smith, he's a bloke that everyone's talking about this week. It's George's man, and I think that we all need to jump on. Break even of 47, an average of 89. Remember, that average does look a lot lower than what it would be if you took out that injury-affected game. Love everything about this bloke. The fact that he's a mid forward and we can get this guy at just under 410k, I think is a real godsend for us this week, and I'm definitely looking to get him into my side. Lockie Whitfield, I think he's still an okay buy. 67 break even. I talked about this in my review video. Just loves those 1-2s, doesn't he? You know, little chip kick, get it back, another chip kick, or get the hands, another little chip kick. But yeah, at 470, you're not getting the value that you were a couple of weeks ago, but still think that he's a good buy there with his low break even. Robbie Gray, I think he's a trap. Look, we haven't seen basically anything from him this year. We've seen a couple of good moments, but I'm talking about Supercoach score-wise. Great goal, wasn't it, on the weekend? Clutch moment, you know, epic play, elite player. But for Supercoach, I just don't like Robbie Gray. And yeah, I think his days of premium scoring numbers are over now, unfortunately, for Robbie. And another man that lots of people are talking about is Dev Smith. So yeah, very frustrating pick for owners. I've got the binoculars and the axe there. Because look, if you want to chop him and you're in the position to be able to chop him, then go for it. I'd love to have him out of my side. But some advice from me is just to look forward, you know, see how many rookies you've got on field, how many trades in the bank, what's your cash generation looking like. And for me, if I trade him, it will be a luxury trade right when my team's almost completed. Or, geez, it may not even be completed, my team, the way things are going this year, but that's my aim. I'm not going to trade him out in the next couple of weeks, although it's very, very tempting. Look, in saying that, if he gets a 40 and a 40 odd, yeah, my hand will probably be forced. But for now, I'm keeping him. But if you want to trade him, I don't think that's the worst idea in the world. If you want to keep him like I am, again, I don't think that's the worst idea either. Some more mid-price forwards now. Jack Martin, he's really surprised me. We know how talented Jack Martin is, but playing some pretty consistent footy down there at Carlton seems a lot happier. And would I be selecting him? Probably not. I think there's other options out there, but if you've got him in your side, not a bad pick whatsoever. Pepley, bit of a pod. I wouldn't be selecting him myself, but I'm just trying to think outside the box a little bit for people that are looking for those pods. Lambert, I do like as a pod. You can see that his break-even's higher than his average there, but I think he'll continue to put in some pretty solid performances there. And I've just got the binoculars on Connor Rosey, so you can see a massive break-even. Well, not massive, but, you know, a break-even of 111 there. Can't believe he's at 334. Lots of people were selecting him as a premium option after the first round. But, yeah, he's dropped a lot in price. I said at the start of the year that, unfortunately for Rosie, it's not about talent, it's a role that he plays. But, look, just keep him on your watch list, because if you're looking to complete that forward line of yours and you just don't have the cash, he wouldn't be the worst F6 if he can start to hit a little bit of form. And, yeah, quickly, Butler down there, hasn't he fallen back down to earth? It's that role that I was talking about. Yeah, for the last 4 weeks again, look, I did almost concede and say, look, I think he's a good pick, because I kept on saying just wait for the low score, and it wasn't happening. But it has the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, if you've got him, what do you do with him? You probably keep him now. But, yeah, I'd be a little bit concerned if I was a Butler owner now. Things were looking rosy, but, yeah, not necessarily at this stage. And finish off with the forwards under 300k. Look at that man there up the top. Break even, negative 97. If you haven't got him, get him into your side. He's still got a heap of money to make. He's the best buy by an absolute mile again here. There's not a heap of the other guys that I like. Waitman would probably be the other fella, mainly based on his talent. I think after the way that he played last week, that he should have a pretty solid job security down there at the Doggies, I think. Great mark, couple of goals, and I think they really rate this kid, so they'll want to put games into him. So I don't think he's a bad pick to bring in. The other blokes here, I'm just not too sure about their job security. So, look, you could have a crack at one of these guys if you want, but I can't really give you any info on what's going to happen in the future with them. And then on this page, we're getting to some of those rookies with some high break-evens. So you'll see Berry, Taylor, and Townsend. Their break-evens are now in the red, so we may look to move those blokes on. Taylor's probably an ideal candidate this week to either downgrade or upgrade, preferably upgrade if you can. But again, I wouldn't be, too adverse to keeping him for another couple of weeks because he's a good on-field option if you are currently playing him on-field. Townsend, unfortunately, he's got to go. He's going to lose way too much money, and if you can get him out, I think that would be a really good idea this week. So that's all from me for this week for the stock market video. Hope that you all go well. Let me know what trades you're looking at down there in the comment section below. And remember, this week I will be putting out a podcast with Spills. We'll be popping that up on his channel. So I'll be giving you the link either on Twitter or Instagram. So make sure that you stay tuned for that as well. So take care, guys. Hope all is going well. And I'll see you soon in the next one. Cheers. Bye.